I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Drinking alcohol is not gonna cure your social anxiety, or honestly, your anxiety in general at that. Hello, welcome back to my tea time. Shally here. Let's get into it. I feel like a huge reason why people even drink alcohol is because of anxiety, and because they think that drinking that alcohol will cure that anxiety. We all know the term, take the edge off. Ooh, I can't wait till 5 o'clock, have a glass of wine and unwind. That wanting to unwind and that edge you're trying to take off is anxiety or depression or just stress or just some sort of uncomfortable feeling that you think alcohol is going to fix. But actually, it's really not going to do that. Growing up, I felt like an outcast for a multitude of reasons, but I really wanted to be accepted by my peers. I wanted to be liked, I wanted to be popular, I wanted to be social. So what I did was develop the party girl aesthetic, because that's honestly what everybody that I knew at the time was interested in. Getting drunk, partying, going out, and just being that type of person. I wanted to be more social, I wanted to have more friends, but I also wanted to feel relaxed in these social settings, so I would drink alcohol, a lot of it. And honestly, in our American society, excessive drinking is normalized. It's actually glamorized. It's pretty crazy that it is, but getting really drunk and partying all the time and drinking often isn't really looked upon as bad until it, crosses that point. But that point honestly can be crossed way early on in your drinking journey than people realize. In hindsight, at that time of my life, although I was outgoing, I realized that I was dealing with some sort of social anxiety. Something about being around a bunch of people in social settings was making me feel anxious and uncomfortable, which is why I think I led to drinking alcohol so much, because at the time it would make me feel better, feel relaxed to be in these settings. So that started at around age 15 for me. And then fast forward 13, 14 years, the pandemic hits and I'm 28. And I can't go out. I can't go anywhere. I can't socialize like that. I can't do any of that. At the same time that the pandemic and the lockdown hit, I also was going through a spiritual awakening. So I wasn't really trying to do that anyway. The whole party lifestyle just I overdid it. I was done with it. I was really just trying to be healthier in every way possible, physical and mental, and now spiritual. Because of this, I went into hermit mode, and for real hermit mode. I used to be the person who was out all the time, always knew what to do, always was on the scene, always at the functions. And then to the point where it went by over a year where I didn't see some of my closest friends. I really took that time to just be with myself and heal myself and just focus on myself, which was really great because I healed a lot, I learned a lot, I realized why I was doing the things I was doing, why I was even excessively partying so much, and I just developed a healthier and happier lifestyle. I started my business, I found my life's purpose, I just healed myself and I healed my life, and I was very happy with where I was at, and I had really no intentions on going back to that old lifestyle of excessive drinking and partying and whatnot. When I started to feel better and felt like it was time to reemerge into society, hang out with some of my old friends, go do some of those old things, maybe go to the bars, go to the clubs, and me as this new person, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can go be in these old settings as this new person and be totally fine and not fall back into that. Yeah. When I would go back into these old settings, I would find myself overindulging in drinking. And I'm like, why am I doing this? I know that alcohol does not resonate well with my body. It doesn't make me feel good. I don't like the feeling of being super drunk and out of control of my emotions and my actions and whatnot. Why am I just falling right back into it? And I didn't even have a desire to drink before that. It's not like I'm like, oh, I needed it or anything. It wasn't even on that addiction level like that anymore. It was just I would just go back in these environments with these people that I used to hang out with and do this a lot, and I would just drink so much. So I guess just proximity to these kinds of people and just the energy of the environment I was in definitely played a part into me diving back into this lifestyle for the night. But I think it went a little deeper than that too. So I would go out, have a night, and be like, oh, I hate this. I feel like crap. I'm not going to do this. Not drink for months and months again. And then go out again and do it again. And I'm like, what is going on? Why do I feel the need to drink heavily or just drink more than I would even want to drink when I'm in these social settings again? It's because I was feeling uncomfortable. Really, really uncomfortable. I realized that it was these settings, these environments, honestly, these people that I just did not feel comfortable around. I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel relaxed. And when you're in these situations, if you don't have the wherewithal to just like leave and go, or if like you feel like, I'm already here, let me just make the most of it, and then there's alcohol involved and everybody around is drinking, it's really easy to just start drinking again. And then so you drink and drink and drink because you think it's making you feel more relaxed, feel comfortable, and feel more comfortable. What it's really doing is it's making you forget at the time of how uncomfortable you feel. It's not actually helping you feel more comfortable, more relaxed. You're just forgetting that you feel uncomfortable and stressed out and anxious. So after a few times of going out again, hanging out with my old friends, going in those old spaces and the club scene and the bar, nightlife, all of that, I realized that I didn't actually have social anxiety before. And I don't have social anxiety now. I just don't like that stuff. I just don't like being in that environment, being in that scene. Because when I do social things like going to my workout classes, going to the farmers markets, going to the beach, hanging out with my family, going to the parks, just doing things like that that aren't centered around drinking, I feel completely fine. I don't feel compelled to forget the anxious feeling that I'm feeling, because I don't feel anxious at all. I feel honestly really relaxed, and I feel very comfortable, and I just feel very good. I feel really good in those settings. In a previous video, I was talking about how when you change your life for the better and you upgrade yourself and you heal yourself, not necessarily going to fit back into your old life with ease. It's just not going to fit and feel good the way it used to. And this is so true, because every time I try to go back in that setting and just heavy party and have these meaningless conversations and then just get really drunk and feel like shit the next day, I would hate it. I would not feel compelled to do that again. I wasn't feeling excited. It would take me days after to feel good again. And I realized this just isn't my scene anymore. This just isn't my scene. And it actually never was my scene, because in actuality, if you have to do something, take some sort of substance, drink alcohol, do something like that just to feel comfortable in the environment that you're in, around the people that you're in the setting that you're in, that's a very good indication that you probably shouldn't be doing that. And you probably shouldn't be hanging out with those people, because there's so many instances and situations in life where you will just go and just be so relaxed and feel fine and feel great and not feel like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom and fucking breathe so that I can just center myself to come back out to these people to then have to do it again in 30 minutes. Like, it's not fun doing that. It's so much better just being in situations and environments where you don't have to do that. So when it came to my social anxiety and anxiety in general, alcohol never fixed it. It didn't. Because if it did, then after all those years of drinking, why the hell do I still feel like that in those places? Because those places were the problem and alcohol was not the cure. And since then, I've learned a lot of healthy coping mechanisms when it came to anxiety in general, not just social anxiety, but anxiety in general. First and foremost, if I'm in a place or around people and around situations where I don't feel good, I don't feel relaxed to the point where it's like, it's overwhelming my body, like I'm shaking and I'm just feeling anxious, I'll leave. That's something I never used to do before. I would just stick it out and stay. And it's like, no. If I don't feel good to the point where it's uncomfortable for me, I'm just not going to hang out there. And I'm probably not going to go back there again. And for general anxiety, just healthy coping mechanisms that I picked up on and started doing all the time that have actually really helped me is going for a walk, journaling, being in nature, whether it's like I'm going to the park, just sitting in my backyard, going to the beach. I now practice meditation and breath work. I drink relaxing herbal teas, honestly, every day, just because they taste good and they make me feel so great and they help to relax my nervous system. I dive more into my hobbies and my creative side and my passions, and really being in that flow state just makes me feel so relaxed. And another thing that I've done that's helped me so much is see a therapist and just get my feelings out there. Talk to somebody who's unbiased as to what I'm going through to help me deal with it in my head. And microdosing psilocybin mushrooms has helped me so much. I'm so grateful for them. When I first started doing them, I didn't realize the healing powers that it had on your mental health. And after microdosing and macrodosing for years, I can honestly say that it's made a tremendous progress with me and my anxiety and depression and just the way I feel, my overall well-being. I just feel so much better now from doing that. I just feel so much better now ever since I really started incorporating psilocybin mushrooms into my life. Moral of the story, using alcohol to cope with anxiety, depression, or low self-esteem doesn't work. Because if it worked, then you wouldn't have to keep doing it all the time. You wouldn't have to keep drinking every time you go out and feel comfortable. Wouldn't it help? Wouldn't it cure? Because it doesn't. It just doesn't work. And to be honest, yes, you might feel better in the moment simply because you're just forgetting about how you feel, but it doesn't actually cure those issues, and honestly can lead to alcohol problems later down the road with excessive use and more habitual use of it. I'm not trying to say that you should stop drinking or alcohol is horrible and whatnot. Everybody's different. You could do whatever you want. All I'm trying to say is that if you are using alcohol to cope with negative emotions or just negative things in your life, within you, outside of you, it's not going to help with that. It's really not. And it would be so much more beneficial for you to focus on finding healthier and more positive coping mechanisms to deal with anxiety or depression or low self-esteem. Then that way, when you do go to drink, you are not escaping. You're not trying to run from something. You're drinking in a more celebratory way, in a more positive way for good instances. Because then it makes doing that way more enjoyable, especially when you're around good people that you feel comfortable around, that you're already relaxed in, and then you're drinking for, I don't know, a celebration, or just because it's a wedding, or it's somebody's birthday, not because it's Wednesday and you're upset. It's not going to really help with that. I'm going to leave you off with this. I heard this quote one time that was like, don't cope the same way you celebrate. And I immediately related that to alcohol, because when you use alcohol to cope and use alcohol to celebrate, the coping is going to take over the celebration. Yeah, you're thinking you want to go out to celebrate, but you're sad. So you're like, yeah, I'm going to get drunk too because I'm sad. And then it crisscrosses, and then it just becomes detrimental to you. So don't cope the same way you celebrate. Just cope in healthier ways, celebrate in other ways, and have that great balance in your life. I hope this resonated with you. I hope that if you're on your journey of trying to figure out your relationship with alcohol and why you did it so much, or why you're doing it so much, or ways to cut back and what to do to deal with these other issues that you might be dealing with, I really hope this helped you, because I've been on that journey for a couple of years now. Like I said, I used to drink and party a lot for negative reasons, and I realized that it wasn't helping me at all. And adopting and learning healthier and better coping mechanisms has taken my life to new heights, and honestly made me realize I don't even like drinking like that much. And even if I ever do indulge in it, it's at very small amounts for good reasons, for good settings, for good occasions. And it just makes the whole vibe of me doing that so much more enjoyable. I hope you have a beautiful day. And as always, stay healthy, happy, and hydrated. Bye.